Welcome everyone. My name is Dee Reinhardt. I'm with Illinois Worknet, and today we are having a webinar. Just a couple of background things before we kick off. If you could please mute your computer speakers if you are on the phone, and if you could please mute your phones while you are waiting to speak, that will eliminate much of the background noise for the recording. And Olivia, Kelly, or Deidre, if you would like to take over.
Good morning, everyone. This is Deidre Wesley, the project manager of the EPIC project. Good morning, and thank you for joining the webinar with us this morning. I just want to give just a brief, make some brief comments from the DHS perspective. The EPIC project is a very important pilot project that is part of the FNS Farm Bill. I think many of you know we received $21 million for this project. The purpose, the overarching purpose of this is to make sure that we can give our SNAP part. Hello?
Please mute your phones until you are ready to speak.
Is to give our SNAP participants a new opportunity to be a part of EPIC services that are a lot more advanced than SNAP ENT services, and Dee will go over that piece. But we just want to talk about the fact that EPIC will provide the opportunity for self-sufficiency. I do have a handout. I don't know, Dee, if you could pull that pie chart forward.
Sure. Give me just a second.
Great.
Yes. Okay, I had called. Please mute your phones if you are listening until you are ready to ask a question.
And the reason why I wanted to pull this forward, and this pie chart was prepared by Tangi Williams, the SDS for Region 1, so thank you, Tangi, for that. What this beautiful pie chart shows are the current career pathways that our EPIC participants are engaged in. We've got about 600 participants statewide engaged in EPIC, and you can see that these are some pretty nice career pathways. We've got healthcare, vocational trades. I know we're really excited about IT, and this is an opportunity that I don't think that our participants are actually getting with regular SNAP, with the regular job placement providers, and they have the opportunity when they're going through actual orientation to select some of these career pathways, the ones that they're actually interested in. So I don't want to prolong this. I know many of you have heard me doing a lot of talking, but EPIC is very, very important. I know that many of you did not start this process with us, and now that SNAP services have been decentralized, EPIC is also decentralized. We know that many of you are very busy and there's a lot going on. But we've got a strong team. I've got a strong EPIC team, and we've got the Department of Commerce working with us. And as a team, we're going to work together, provide training, and support you through this process. And together, I'm hoping that we can reach our recruitment goals. So with that said, Dee, I'm going to let you take over. And thanks again, everybody, for joining this morning.
Did Kelly or Olivia want to say something?
Hey, this is Kelly. I just signed on. I'm sorry, I'm a little late. I had another meeting that I was in. The only thing that I really wanted to say is that, you know, this webinar, thank you all, first of all, for conducting this webinar. And this webinar will give our staff an opportunity to get more get more of an understanding as it relates to EPIC. EPIC, along with all of our other tasks in terms of engagement, is something that we have to strive for, and it's just something else that's added to our plate, but we're going to be positive about it and make sure that we're doing everything within our power to make sure that we're making our referrals, not making our referrals, but explaining EPIC to our customers so they can make a concerted decision as to if they want to enter into this pilot. That's all I have.
Great. So one of the things that we would like to do is have representation of everybody that is joining us today. So if you could please check in. I know that almost all of you are from Region 1, but what we can tell is who actually got here. Now, if you are listening as a group, if you want to click in the chat portion of the chat pod that's to the left where I wrote a message that we would begin at 10 o'clock, you can type in there and we can see any questions that you might have. We do a training webinar every Friday morning for DHS staff, so that's how you can communicate with us, because in most cases we do not have the microphones open. So please check in. I see that there are 26 people on the call and only 15 have checked in from Region 1. So that would be wonderful if you could let us know where you are from, what office you're from, all of that kind of good stuff. In the pod just below the chat pod is a file pod where you can download today's presentation, the PowerPoint presentation. You can also download the self-directed training instructions. And just to let you know, if you will be attending one of my trainings on the 16th, the 22nd, 24th, 29th, or 1st, we will do all of the do things on the list. So we've got a read section, we've got a watch section, and we've got a do section on those self-directed training instructions. So you don't have to do anything until you come to one of the trainings, but I prepared that as a checklist for future use as well. We don't like to do anything that we can't use for future reference. We like to make it as easy as possible. The third item in that DHS CBO contact list is the DHS contacts. This will be very useful to have updated on a regular basis for the primary contacts who are working with DHS so that our CBOs can contact the person directly. So what we would like is that updated, and if you want to send any updates, you can send those to the email address that I am putting in the chat pod right now. I would also like to introduce Olivia Grisham, who is in Springfield. She is a wonderful help, and Olivia, go ahead and say hello to everybody and tell them what you do for Illinois Worknet and the EPIC program.
Hi, everybody. I'm Olivia Grisham, like Dee said, with Illinois Worknet, and I kind of work on the more technical side of EPIC. I'll be going in and looking at the dashboards and monitoring our numbers, and then if I see any of the customers who are displaying incorrectly or who maybe are missing some information, I'm just going to reach out to you guys and try to get those customers' information resolved so they can flow through the dashboard correctly and make sure that we're getting them through the whole EPIC process and nobody's getting left behind. If you guys have any questions about EPIC itself, or if you run into a problem when you guys are doing the EPIC schools, I am also the EPIC help desk, so you will be calling or emailing me figuring out those problems. So I'm here if you run into anything at all or have any questions.
And Olivia, would you like to type your email address into the chat pod so that people can copy that down as well?
Yeah.
Then I would also like to introduce Tammy Stone. She is with the Department of Commerce, and she and I were out in the field at the pods Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'll tell you, I'm exhausted. So, Tammy, would you like to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, I was one of the faces if you saw us running around, crawling on the floor, and installing computers. Yeah, I am with the Department of Commerce, and I've been with this project. I was actually on the team when we wrote the RFA to USDA to get this funding. This is an incredible opportunity. Dee's going to go through this in her presentation, but this is a nationally watched study, and so this is being looked at very high at the national level, and things that happen with what we're doing could potentially influence policy down the road and E&T on the national level. So it's a very, very significant project. I know it's a small piece of what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis, but this is something that could potentially drive policy down the road. So this is why we really have to take a vested interest in this, because it could affect the way you do your work in the future too. But we're so happy to have everybody on the team. I'm really excited about the decentralization. I think it makes sense. I think it's going to help us extremely get our numbers and provide appropriate services for these people. So I know we've got a little bit of a hurdle to go through to get everybody trained and get it moving, but I do think it's a right pathway to go. So with that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Dee.
Great. All right. I'm going to start into the presentation. I want to try to keep this to an hour, and I've got a lot of stuff to cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this PowerPoint presentation, and at an end of a section, I will ask if you have any questions. You are welcome to type any questions that you want into the chat pod, but if you want to ask a question so that we can answer it and that it appears in the recording, we will make sure that we can do that. Olivia, I see that you're on the webinar. Would you like to say anything? Olivia Edwards from Workforce Development, would you like to say hello to everyone?
Just get it started, man. What the frickle?
Or are you just listening by computer? He's typing. All right. And again, if you could please mute your phones so that we have the recording as clear as possible until you're ready to ask a question. Okay, so we see that we have the EPIC overview. Just a couple of the partners that are participating in this project are the USDA with the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the Illinois Department of Human Services, which is all of you guys, and the Department of Commerce, which is Tammy and a couple of other folks, and then Illinois Worknet, which is Olivia, Natasha Telger, who could not be with us this morning, all of our programmers who have worked on getting the dashboard and the website up, myself, I'm a contractor with Illinois Worknet, and then the other ladies that are just there in the background, but they help support us along the way as well. As Deidre said earlier, the SNAP E&T pilots we were one of 10 states that were selected from a national competition to be part of this program. All of this pilot program is working to increase SNAP participants' employment and earnings and reduce their reliance upon public assistance. The Farm Bill required an evaluation team who is Mathematica and MDRC who will determine from all of the study information that we enter whether or not this is going to be beneficial to use and potentially implement statewide or nationwide. So that's a wonderful thing that we're able to be part of one of 10 states selected out of all 50. These are the states that were selected, so you can see it's spread out pretty much across the country. We've got some states that are large, and we've got some states that are small. We hope to help our customers find good jobs. We want to enable them to be able to support themselves without SNAP or other public assistance. We want to find out which services are most helpful to the clients, so that's why we have a broad variety of services available to them. Who are they most helpful for? Our target is ABODs, the able-bodied adults without dependents, but we are accepting people with disabilities and with children as long as they are not TANF recipients. We also want to be able to figure out what we can recommend to other states based on what we learn during the course of our pilot program. So we are collecting information for best practices and everything, as Tammy always says, we're building the ship as we're floating through the ocean. So we're gathering information from everyone and making changes as we go to make it the best project that we can possibly make it for everyone. In Illinois, we were awarded $21.9 million. This is allocated to support, most of it will go to support the community-based organizations. We hope to serve, and I'll show you in just a moment, a large number of customers. And we have a collaborative partnership through all of those departments listed on the page. Now, if you download this handout from the file pod in the lower left-hand corner, you can have all of this information for your future reference. In Illinois, as we said, we have $19.5 million going to help train and help those customers move forward and get off of public assistance. In Region 2, which are those 3 counties at the northern part of Illinois along the border, we are going to serve 168 people in the program, in the EPIC test program, and then we're going to have 168 people who are referred to services as usual. So as we're looking at it across the state, you guys have the biggest chunk of this responsibility. You're responsible to pull in over 3,600 people because we're going to have just shy of 1,900 people in SNAP ENT, traditional business as usual services, and then close to 1,900 people in EPIC services, which is the actual program. So all in all, we want to try to serve 5,000 total customers, those with 2,500 with expanded services and 2,500 with the core services. A little bit about Illinois Worknet. We are a web portal that serves the entire state of Illinois. We have some offices that are out and about in the community. We are co-located with many of the Department of Employment Security offices out and about across the state. But in effect, what we are trying to do is make the portal that we do accessible for everyone. And we have many, many, many services, tools, and resources available to job seekers and employers alike. We work cooperatively with all of the partners to make everything work in the workforce development system across the state of Illinois, and those are just some of our partners listed there. Illinois Worknet's role in EPIC is numerous. We are working on the outreach information and materials. We help with training like we're doing today for all of our partners. We have a dashboard that I will show you in a few moments that helps for real-time facilitation and the ability to engage not only with your fellow coworkers in DHS, but with us and with the CBOs that are out and across the state as well. We plan to integrate with the new IES system as soon as that is up and running. We have eligibility steps and review. We work on the enrollment process and collect data on a regular basis so that at any point in time we can show you numbers of how many people are where. So it's very crucial for everyone to understand and use the dashboard because that's our Bible, for lack of a better word, to make sure that we're moving people appropriately through the system. We are creating enrollment procedures. We're working on all of the background information that helps, and then we're also providing customer and outcome reporting options. So do we have any questions about anything that I just shared with you? Nope. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the training tools that are available, and we're going to talk about intake and orientation tools right now. We have a website that shows you, this is the partner guide, and this is where you will find all of the resources that you need. This is where you will be able to find most of the things from that self-directed training handout that is in the file pod just below the chat pod. We have information on there for DHS staff. We have information on there for the CBO staff. If you need to access the resources, you can go to illinoisworknet.com/epicpartners. And Olivia, if you would, Olivia Grisham, if you would like to type that into the chat pod for everybody, I would appreciate that. We do have a live link on the PDF documents so that if you open the PDF documents at a later point in time, you can just click on the link and it will take you to the page. We need to recruit SNAP participants. Eligible individuals reside in one of 33 counties in the study and are SNAP eligible. 85% of the 5,000 study participants are work registrants. We hope to get those SNAP recipients employed. They are a voluntary population that will participate in the study, but that is different than what we're talking about with mandatory and voluntary SNAP recipients. So we will discuss that detail in the actual hands-on training sessions. According to SNAP, everybody in Cook County is a mandatory SNAP recipient, but we may have some voluntary SNAP recipients. For example, those that might have children but maybe don't have the TANF benefit coming into their house, or they may have a disability that they would not be considered an ABOD. Anybody who is receiving SNAP and is not considered an ABOD would be that voluntary participant. And again, I need to stress this very clearly, that anyone who does receive a TANF check in their household cannot be a participant in the EPIC program. So I see Christelle typing. I'm going to wait for her question, but I'm going to continue to move on so that we can keep this on track. We have some outreach materials available. We have an entire outreach plan in place. We have been working on the decentralization, so as soon as we get everybody trained and back up and running, we are going to start working on reaching those customers that might be difficult to reach. We have a plan in place to do radio public service announcements, some newspaper and local publication public service announcements. We have flyers that you can access. We have posters. We have handbills that you can give to customers. We hope to have enough little posters, that smaller ones, that we can put in everybody's cubicle so that you can cross-refer between people within your office. We also would like to have the web address available so that people can access it if they would like to. And Olivia G., if you would like to put the IL EPIC web address in the chat pod, that would be wonderful. This is a chart that Deidre created. We encapsulated it here in the webinar, but this is the basic differences between what EPIC will provide and what SNAP ENT control group will receive. We do have this in a handout that is available from the IL EPIC web page, as well as it's available in the partner resource guide. So you can have some of these printed and available so that if somebody says to you, well, what's the difference between EPIC and SNAP, you can hand them a copy of this, and then they can see, well, what am I going to get if I participate in EPIC? And this will be very beneficial for somebody who really wants to move up and out and off of public assistance. So you can read these later. You can access the file. We will have them in folders for the actual training program. Training sessions that we do. So as we recruit along the way, one of the things that we know will happen is we get fallout. of the 60,000 people or more, I anticipate we're going to have to reach out to maybe 150,000 people across the state to actually, excuse me, get our numbers. One of the things that we will do, some people don't ever respond. Excuse me. Some people show up, but then they get to the office and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. So then they fall out. And then we get to the assignment step so that we know that 50% of those people that actually go through the assignment step will fall out. So we need to reach out to as many people as possible so that we can get our 5,000 total participants, 2,500 in the control group and 2,500 in the EPIC group. We have an EPIC orientation that we do. We have someone from each region across the state of Illinois who is pretty much a key person. We will have a key person at each of the pods who will take people through the orientation process. It all begins with doing an invitation, and so that's what we need from all of you who are in the feeder offices. We will be doing some webinars to teach you how to follow through with the invitation process. There are 5 steps in the EPIC website. One is just an introduction where you watch videos. Step 2 is where they do a career interest survey. Step 3 is where they can see, based on their circumstances, the training programs that would be available for them. Step 4 is completing an application. And then step 5 is actually meeting with a caseworker to go through the random assignment process. So do we have any questions from the audience about that information so far? All right, moving on. Eligibility review has been simplified from where we started, and this was all based on suggestions from the field. So what happens is, based on the information that a customer enters into their application, programs are recommended based on that information. So for example, if someone does not have a driver's license and cannot obtain a driver's license, they would not be recommended for a truck driving training course. If they cannot taste or smell, they would not probably be recommended for a culinary training program. So we take all of those things into consideration, and then based upon what the customer has entered in their application, they will get programs recommended to them. It shows them the distance that they are away from their program. So all of this review process is done so that we can hopefully get a great fit for those customers to move forward with a career pathway. Partner training tools. Random assignment is a huge piece of this process. And as we are going through the random assignment process, we have some tools available to you. This will be a big chunk of the training that we will do in person with our managers and with the caseworkers, the key caseworkers that we will be training hands-on. Could someone please mute their phone so that we don't have the background noise? I'm not quite sure who's talking right now. If the person is interested in participating in the EPIC SNAP ENT pilot program, they have a 50-50 chance of being in the program. They will be put into the treatment group based upon 3 different models. One is if they need to bring their basic education levels up and obtain a GED. The next one is if they just need some basic adult refreshers. Maybe it's been a long time since they've used some basic math skills and they just need to get a brush up, but they have the basic education under their wing already. Then the third model is they just need the skills training. So those are the 3 models for the treatment group. And then in the control group, it's business as usual, meaning if you have a job placement program in your office and you refer people out to the job placement program and they are assigned to SNAP E&T, part of the control group, they will just go to JPP, Earn Fair, whatever the program is that is in your office. Random assignment occurs in EPIS, which is a different system, not Illinois Worknet. We do not have any control over the assignment. It is 100% random assignment. And after the random assignment, the group assignment automatically populates the Illinois Worknet partner tool. And we will teach you all of that in the training sessions. We have a question from Michelle, and it says, do we assist in getting driver's license for customers if they do not have one? The CBOs will be responsible for doing all of the training and the career navigation. That is where you make the assignment to the CBO, and they will help the customer with workplace skills, getting a driver's license, maybe getting something expunged off of their record. All of those things will happen through the CBO. The one thing that we will request of the DHS offices is some transportation for the initial appointments, so you may need to issue a bus pass so that they can get to their initial appointment. The group assignment in EPIC, as we said earlier, this person was randomly assigned to EPIC's E&T services. They picked a program. There is a schedule system in place. You download 3 documents that you hand to the person at the appointment, and you schedule the appointment right there and then. So if they are sent to a pod, the appointment can be anywhere up to about 3.5 hours, depending upon how fast the person reads and how many people are going through the process. But they will leave that day with an appointment to go to the CBO. So it's great information. We used to, we removed this down from a 2-day process into a 1-day process. Customers who cannot pass a background check can qualify for some of the programs. There are some, for example, anyone with a sexual registry, anybody who's listed on the sexual registry cannot be involved in the Certified Nurses Certified Nurse Assistant program. CBO stands for Community-Based Organization. I apologize. I am too used to saying acronyms, as all of us who work with state agencies are. So that is, I apologize for not spelling that out initially. JPP is Job Placement Program. All right, let's move on. So for the next steps, what we need for all of you who are in the 1 North and 1 South feeders and pods, we need you, if you are going to be working with EPIC, we need you to have an Illinois Worknet account. And in the self-directed training program, there is a place with directions about how to set up the account. So go to illinoisworknet.com and set up your Illinois Worknet account if you do not already have one. When you are done with setting up your account, please send an email to epic@illinoisworknet.com. Olivia, please type that in the chat pod one more time. And then we will set you up so that you have access to the EPIC system. Then you can also have access with the EPIC partner tools, and you can always bookmark this webinar spot where you came to today and join us on Friday mornings from 10 to 11. We try to make them only a half an hour, but that doesn't always work because we always have a lot of information to cover. You can dial into the same number, and that's the webinar. So what I would like to do now, I'm going to minimize this. Do we have any questions about the presentation right now? Olivia Edwards typed that she wants this to be clear that EPIC is open to any SNAP recipient. It could be a mother with a child, but they cannot receive TANF benefits. They could be receiving medical, SNAP, just no TANF. All right, let me minimize this screen. And pull my screen open more. And if you got here late and did not have a chance to check in, do that real quickly. Guest, who should set up an Illinois Worknet account? Anybody from the feeder offices and the pods who will be working with EPIC participants. So if you would potentially see somebody and need to invite them to an EPIC orientation, you will need to set up an Illinois Worknet account. And Deidre has a list of everyone who has already been told that they are going to be working with EPIC. So that is, you should have, if you're on this webinar, you probably need an Illinois Worknet account. Does that make it clearer? Okay, so let me pull open my screen, and I will show you around live a couple of things really quickly. And Olivia or Tammy, if you see questions come up in the chat pod, if you could alert me, that would be wonderful because I am looking at my other monitor right now. So this is IL EPIC, and this is the website where we direct everybody to. We have a couple of videos that you can watch. We have some information. We have some information that says, are you eligible? You can take a look at the targeted industries that are available. And we have where SNAP recipients can apply for the services. And as you can see, there's a number of offices across the state that are working with this. Yes, we have it. Okay, so let's move on to our steps. And what we can do is take a look at step one. And this is what the people will be going through if they go through orientation. We have step one where they learn a little bit more about the program. We have a playlist that we played 3 videos at an orientation. We have the chart that shows the differences between EPIC services and SNAP services. Then we go to step 2, and I encourage all of you to take a look at this at your leisure so that you can see what your customers will be seeing. We have a career cluster inventory that they can click and log in. We welcome you to complete the career interest survey. If you would like to, you can use your Illinois Worknet account that you create, or when we are doing training, you can use your test account that we create. For step 3, they get to take a look at the career training programs that are available to them based on their circumstances. So we'll publish this, sorry. What they will be able to do is sorry, it's taking just a moment here because I did the publish on there. What they'll be able to do is pick a region. Then they can pick, based on that region, there is a number behind each of these numbers. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you. There's a number behind each of the areas where there is a training program in that region. So if I want to look at training programs for business management, I also want to look at hospitality and tourism, and I also want to look at transportation, distribution, and logistics. I tell them what I can or cannot pass. Could somebody please mute their telephone? If you cannot pass a TB test, or if you're legally blind, if you cannot get a driver's license, if they're not interested in a career that requires a drug test, maybe they're on the sexual offender registry, or they have a violent or nonviolent felony conviction. If they click one of those items, then they will, it will diminish the number of programs that they would be able to participate in.
Excuse me, Dee. Whoever is talking in the background, can you please mute your phone? You are being disruptive to the webinar and the presenter. Thank you.
Somebody give me a, please give me a zip code from the area. 60643, is that one? Okay, great. 60643. And then you will then see the list of programs based on that zip code and the parameters that I entered that are available to that particular customer. They can click on the training program and take a look. They can look at the career information based on that, and then they can watch videos. So once they've done the career interest survey, that might drive them one way or another to one of these careers. They pick those careers in these pods. They can watch the information and determine how far away from them is the training. How is it accessible? How long is the training? So this is just great information for them to make a determination about their program choices. Then in step 4, we have the application. The application, based upon their history and education, could take them up to about 30 minutes to complete, but it is what we need to help complete the process for them. Very briefly, I want to show you the dashboard. So if you're going to invite a customer, you would come to the dashboard. I am logged in as training, as the training site right now, so you won't see any real customer information. But you would invite a customer to participate in the EPIC orientation from this screen. Then we also have the ability to look at the intake dashboard. And what this is, it looks like a lot of pretty colors right now, right? Yeah? Okay. But what this does is it shows us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the program. Anything white is a neutral position. Anything in blue is the header topic. Anything in yellow means that it needs some sort of action to move it to the green bar. The green bar information is all good. Anything in red is something where the person has dropped out, they're not SNAP eligible any longer. There's something going on that is a negative impact to that customer. So just remember, it's kind of like stopping at a stoplight in the intersection. Red means you've got something, you got to stop. Yellow means you need to pay attention. Green means go. So we're good there with all of that information. And then all of that will be, all of this, if you are going to be working with a customer doing random assignment and working through the system, especially the pod people, I hate to call you the pod people, but the people in the pods, they will be working with this dashboard on an intimate level. So I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to have you be like deers in the headlight and go running scared away from this webinar saying, oh, I can't do this. So we want to just give you a high-level overview. And then last but not least, I want to show you, excuse me, this is the partner resource page. You can access the website from here, and could somebody put the partner link in the chat pod, please? Just by clicking on this big Epic, you can access ilepic.com. By clicking here on this Epic Partner Dashboard, you can access your dashboard, the grid of numbers that I just showed you. We have a full list of resources available, including frequently asked questions. We have a number of tutorials that many of them I have done, so you'll probably get tired of hearing my voice. But it's there for you to use so that if you're just a little bit unsure of what you need to do next, they're there for your benefit. And then we record and archive all of the webinars so that you can go back and watch if there's something, maybe you had an appointment and you couldn't make the Friday webinar. We record them so that you can go back and watch them at a later point in time. If we go to the full list of resources, you get to see a whole pile of documents, but they're all in either Excel format if you need to use Excel for it. They're in PDF if you just need to look at it. They're in Word if you need to manipulate that. The one thing that we do request from IDHS is that everybody have Chrome, because the dashboard will work best in Chrome. So Kelly or Olivia and Enid, if you're on the call, if you could help get that facilitated for us, that would be wonderful. Things will work in IE 11, but it does need to be Internet Explorer 11, none of the earlier versions. So that's it for the formal presentation. Is there any questions about anything that I need to show you or cover again? And Deidre or Kelly, if you would like to share anything else, or Tammy, if you would like to share anything else, please feel free at this time.
I don't have anything. Thank you, Dee.
All right.
Dee, do you want them to do anything with the self-directed document prior to their training on the 16th?
I would like them to read and watch. Anything that's listed under the read those documents. Anything that's listed under the watch those videos. Now, you do not have to print the documents because we are going to provide a folder for each of you that are attending the training on the 16th. We are providing a folder with all of the documents in it, so don't waste your ink because we've already printed them. But please read them at least and watch them so that you are familiar with everything. And then the only other thing that I need everyone to do is set up your Illinois Worknet account and email us at epic@illinoisworknet.com once you have set up your Illinois Worknet account.
This is Tammy. I know this seems probably kind of daunting, but I think once you get into it, it's a process, and it's a very easy process once you get to know the steps. And you've got some great staff that has, been decentralized that have already done this in the pod offices. So, I mean, they're going to be a huge resource, and we'll be relying on those individuals also because they already know the system and how it works.
All right. I see somebody typing. And if you didn't get a chance, again, please check in so that we can keep track of who we had here. And we'll give it just a moment. We're actually early. I'm pleasantly surprised at that. What's the role for other non-pod offices regarding EPIC? We need you to recruit for us. We need you to feed us SNAP recipients. And we will be we have 3 dates scheduled for webinars where we will teach you how to do the invitation process, and we will record those. So if you can't make any of those webinars, we will record those so that you can watch them. That is the biggest thing, is we need you to help feed us potential customers so that we can get them through the orientation process. Did that answer your question, Savath? I'm sure I butchered your name just then, and I apologize. Great. All right. I see several people are typing, so if we'll wait there just for a moment. Yeah, I said feed. Basically refer your customers to the pods. Also, we have a reverse referral process from the CBOs, from the community-based organizations, to, if they have somebody that is a SNAP recipient, they will send them back to the pods. And what we're going to do is we're not going to have them come to the feeder sites. We're going to have them come to the pods directly. And we have an entire reverse referral process in place that we've already discussed with all of the community-based organizations so that they know the process to make that reverse referral. They should be coming into the offices with a 2151 that says EPIC reverse referral. All right. All right. So I see Deidre typing. I'm hoping that she's answering somebody. And I see somebody else typing. We'll give it just another moment, and then if I don't see any other questions, yes, that's pretty much the case. The Mid-South office and Northwest pods have staff in place that were already working with the EPIC program, so they can take referrals right now. So if you feed those two offices, they should be ready to go. The Worknet calendar, let me go back to the partner guide. The Worknet calendar is on this page right here. And we will, once you guys all get into the swing of things, oh yeah, I guess I need to make that bigger. Thanks. The Worknet calendar is on the EPIC partner page, and it is, scroll down past the videos, we have a calendar of when people will be going to orientation, or when offices hold orientation. On the invite process, we're trying to get a new fix done to the invitation so that you'll see whether they have a morning session or an afternoon session and how many people have already been invited. So that is something that our programmers are feverishly working on to get done so that we can have that at least in test by Tuesday and hopefully up and functioning by the webinar on the 17th. So we also have a CBO calendar when we do things with the CBO. That is, right now, it's just the technical assistance webinar that we do on Wednesdays for them. You're welcome to join that webinar as well, but we don't want to overwhelm you totally. So I'd be happy if you guys just showed up for the 10 a.m. IDHS technical assistance webinar. There is a capacity for the orientation days. Each pod has 10 laptops. So we're probably going to be capping out the pod orientations probably at 25 because of fallout or because of people deciding once they get there they don't want to participate. There may be a morning session and an afternoon session, and we will work on all of that once we get everybody up and running. And as Deidre just said, she'll update the calendar to let you know what the capacities are. All right, I don't see anybody else typing, and it is 10:57 according to the corner of my computer. So I would like to thank everybody for your time and attention today. I will see many of you on the 16th at 59th Street. And bring your brains in gear. Get good sleep the night before because we're going to fly through some of this information. We will have all of those resources available to you. The things that I would like to do is have your Illinois Worknet account set up so that we can get you assigned roles. And I would love for you to be able to read the information that's on the self-directed training and watch the videos. Most of the videos are probably no more than 5 minutes, so you can do a few at a time. All right, thanks. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.